Wake up, you consensus cowards. If your decision-making process requires everyone to agree, you've already signed your company's death warrant in diplomatic ink. Consensus is where breakthrough ideas go to be suffocated by mediocrity, murdered by meetings, and buried in the graveyard of great concepts that got committed to death. Stanford research shows that consensus decisions take nearly 3 times longer and produce 40% less bold outcomes. That's like paying triple the price for watered down whiskey. Hello, I'm Todd Hagopian, the original Stagnation Assassin, CEO of the Stagnation Assassins, and the executive director of the Stagnation Intelligence Agency. And as always, this will be a fast-paced, bold, in-your-face episode where we will help teach all of the aspiring stagnation assassins out there how to declare war on stagnation. If you have issues with decisions dying in committee quicksand while competitors capture your market share, in this podcast, you will discover Decision Dictatorship. This is one of my favorites, with clear accountability, the velocity framework that categorizes choices by importance and reversibility, and the 70% rule that turns procrastinators into profit producers. Picture this: a pathetic parade of paralysis. Your leadership team sitting around a conference table for the 6th meeting about the same decision. Everyone nodding like dashboard bobbleheads, nobody wanting to be the bad guy who disagrees, while your market opportunity evaporates like morning mist. Consensus culture creates corporate cowards. I've seen companies where launching a new product required sign-off from 17 different stakeholders, these matrixed organizations. 17. That's not decision-making. That's decision-destroying. By the time everyone agreed, the market had moved on. Competitors had captured the opportunity, and the product was obsolete before it launched. There was this tech company that I heard about that needed to update their pricing model. Simple decision, right? Wrong. They formed a pricing committee with representatives from sales and marketing and finance and ops and customer success. Customer success. Each meeting generated more questions than answers. 6 months later, they finally reached a consensus on a 5% price increase. Their competitor. They made the same decision in 1 week. They captured 3 major accounts, while consensus committee was still arguing about decimal points. Here's the consensus cancer spreading through corporate America. Everyone gets veto power. The most risk-averse person in the room becomes the de facto decision maker, because consensus means everyone must agree. It's like letting the most fearful person drive the car. You'll never get anywhere worth going. The research is actually revolting. Studies show that consensus-driven organizations move about 40% slower than those with clear decision rights. They produce solutions that are approximately 40% less innovative because every bold idea gets watered down to weak tea that nobody objects to. You know what nobody objects to? Mediocrity. I've watched consensus culture create what I call decision theater, elaborate performances where everyone pretends to contribute while secretly hoping that someone else will make the actual choice. Meeting after meeting of mental mastication, chewing the same issues until they're flavorless mush. People leave these sessions feeling productive because they talked for 2 hours, not realizing that talk without decision is just expensive air conditioning. But here's the really repulsive result. Consensus doesn't even create buy-in. People agree in the room to avoid conflict and then sabotage implementation because they never truly supported the watered-down decision. So you get fake agreement followed by real resistance, the worst of both worlds. The consensus cult has convinced companies that democracy belongs in the boardroom. Democracy is great for government. It is terrible for decisions. You need decision dictators, not discussion Democrats. While you're building consensus, your competitors are building market share. Another company I know spent 9 months achieving consensus on their digital transformation. 9 months. By the time they agreed on an approach, 3 new technologies had emerged that made their consensus obsolete. They achieved unanimous agreement on a strategy that was already ancient history. It is time to assassinate the consensus cancer with decision dictatorship. Not tyranny, clarity. Every decision needs one owner with authority to make the call and accountability for the consequences. First, implement the decision velocity framework. Categorize every decision by 2 factors, reversibility and important. Type 1 decisions are irreversible and critical. These need senior input, but still not consensus. Type 2 are reversible. Make them fast with minimal input. I've seen companies discover that about 90% of their decisions are actually type 2, yet they treat them all like constitutional amendments. And here's the revolutionary reality. You don't need agreement. You need understanding. The decision rights matrix assigns clear ownership for different decision types. Product features, product manager decides after input. Pricing, sales leader decides with finance input. The key word, decides, not discusses, not deliberates, decides. Apply the 70% rule ruthlessly. When you have 70% of the information you wish you had and 70% of the confidence in your direction, move. I know a retail company that implemented this rule and cut their decision times from weeks to days. Their speed became their competitive advantage. Competitors were still scheduling consensus meetings while they were already in the market. One manufacturing company I read about eliminated consensus requirements and something magical happened. Decision quality actually improved. Why? Because when one person owns the decision, they take it seriously. No hiding behind the committee, no delusion or diffusion of responsibility. Just clear ownership and real accountability. Strategic manipulation beats consensus participation. Instead of seeking agreement, seek input and then decide. The decision owner gathers perspectives, considers options, and makes the call. Others don't have to agree. They just have to understand and execute. This company went from 12-week decision cycles to 12-day decision cycles. Productive paranoia prevents paralysis. Create decision sprints where certain choices must be made within specific time frames. No extensions and no exceptions. If you don't decide by Friday, the default option automatically activates. Suddenly, people can find ways to make those decisions. When delay is not an option, they decide. But here's the counterintuitive catalyst. Fast decisions create better outcomes than slow ones. Why? Because when you make a quick decision, test it, learn, and adjust faster than your competitor can make their first consensus choice. One of my friend's startups makes major strategic decisions in 48 hours or less. Their motto, we can make another decision tomorrow, but we can't get today back. Implement the RAPID framework. Recommend, agree, perform, input, decide. Notice, only one person decides. Everyone else has supporting roles, but the decider decides. This isn't about autocracy. This is about velocity. Clear roles eliminate consensus quicksand. As always, remember to visit tatagopian.com for some awesome content on slaying stagnation, or go straight to the source and visit the world's largest stagnation slaughterhouse at stagnationassassins.com. Make sure to sign up for updates at both. Follow me on my socials, buy our books, do all the things. But most importantly, tune in next time as we continue to declare war on stagnation. Here is your consensus-killing assignment for the day. Identify 3 decisions that have been stuck in committee purgatory for more than 2 weeks. Assign one owner to each decision and give them 72 hours to decide. No consensus required, just input and action. Stop, Stop confusing democracy with decision making. Ask yourself, how many opportunities have you missed while waiting for everyone to agree? The answer will horrify you into action. Once again, thank you, folks, and we'll see you next time.